Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. I am blessed that the Lord woke me up another day. Lord's blessings to me and everybody else who's up and awake and listening to the Good Morning Show right here on WBOK. I've got Mason Harrison in with me today.
Good morning, Will.
Good morning. Good morning. How was your trip in?
Pleasant. The weather is very nice this morning.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of hitting in your zone, right?
This is perfect.
Yeah, right.
This is the climatological sweet spot as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. But we are going to be hitting up higher to about 79, 80, 81.
Okay.
Still is getting in the uncomfortable
Starting to
area.
get out of my zone of preference, but I'll take it.
Yeah, right. It is New Orleans.
It is. It is.
All right, folks, it's 7:01 a.m. Just a reminder, as we like to do every day. Remember, we've got school babies and kiddos on the way to school by bus, by mommy transportation, grandpa transportation, auntie transportation, all kinds of different transportation. And on the way, as they get closer to school, they need to be getting out of whatever kind of vehicle and get to school safely. And that includes you driving at 20 miles per hour, the school zone speed limit. So please be safe. And if you've got somewhere to be at 7:10, you got 8 minutes, and you got a little bit more time if you got to be there at 7:15. But, take care of your stuff at home. So you're not taking care of personal things and other things. And yes, there's an opportunity to listen and watch the Good Morning Show. But please don't do the watching in your car on your way to wherever you're going. We certainly appreciate all of our WBOK family of listeners. 12:30 a.m. on the radio and on the YouTube channel, the WBOK YouTube channel, and of course on Facebook Live. We can't see you, you can see us, and we appreciate knowing that you're there each and every day. Mason, we got quite a bit of things to talk about today, and one of the big things we're going to talk about is Inspire NOLA has a pretty big shindig coming up. And we're going to hear from the CEO about that during this show this morning. And we're talking big names.
We are. It appears that John B. and Chrisette Michelle will perform at this event, which is quite significant.
That is significant.
We'll also talk later in the show about a black woman in Georgia who's been charged with murder after ordering the abortion pill online. We'll also talk about how the Iran war is disproportionately impacting black Americans. And we'll talk about Mackenzie Scott's latest HBCU donation.
Yeah, she keeps doling it out. And I'm happy to see it.
Indeed, she does.
I'm all for it. Go Mackenzie. Yeah, we got all of that. And of course, we got things going on with other things related to Iran. And we have things going on that are related to the airports, including our very own Louis Armstrong International Airport, airport code MSY. So, it's the third day of ICE, second day of ICE being there at our airport and 13 others. Third day of TSA agents being out, a number of them, according to some recent calculations that were shared yesterday. The New Orleans airport is number one in terms of percentage of sick out. So we've got more than 40% of our TSA staff here, and other airports, including major airports, Philadelphia, New York, Washington, D.C., Chicago, also are being hit with long lines, but they don't have as large a number as our folks are experiencing here with the long lines.
Well, we always do things to excess in New Orleans.
We do. But you know what? those who have jobs always, including me, always like to make more money. Okay. But if you are working a job and told you need to be here, but we're not going to pay you, but you're required to be here at some point, unless there's something about you that I don't know, like, you've got this significant $5 million investment fund or something. Um, how many weeks do you go and say, I can't afford to go to work and not bring money in? So maybe it starts as a sick out to make a point, but then maybe it moves into, I can't afford this. I've got a partner, 2 kids at home. I've got nobody else at home, and I got 6 kids. And so I'm going to drive Uber or Lyft. I am going to go and look at LNR for security work. I'm going to do something to get some income.
Correct. Most Americans, the average American, I should say, is only about 2 to 3 paychecks away from dire financial straits. And so, for those unaware who've not been following this issue, due to the partial government shutdown, TSA workers, which are considered essential and vital by the federal government due to what they do, have not been receiving their full level of compensation. And so, this sick out is, as you said, Will, to send a point.
Yeah, and that point that the TSA folks are making is not a Democratic point or a Republican point. They're making a point of I have a cost of living, you have a cost of living, you're getting paid, I'm not getting paid, and you want me to work. And so it's time for y'all to work this out so we can get back to work or continue working uh, with pay, because the shutdown, the partial government shutdown, is because the Republicans and the Democrats have not been able to agree on the funding of ICE, which has now become a fundamental philosophical difference of opinion about whether ICE should be funded as it has been, give them more to do more of what they've been doing, give them money but do less, and then have restrictions and policies like no mask and wear name badges. And the Republicans are not going. As a matter of fact, just yesterday, the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, offered President Trump a way out that included separating the ICE budget from the Homeland Security budget. And Trump said no. So that doesn't sound like movement to me.
Right. And so, what this would have allowed, presumably, is for the government to reopen by funding DHS. ICE is under the Department of Homeland Security.
It
And
is.
so that would have got things moving, and then use ICE, the negotiations surrounding that, as a separate issue.
Center on that. Yeah.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the president, of course, has deemed that that is not an agreeable approach. And so the impasse continues.
Yeah. And so now there have been talks about how do we handle the airport delays, significant airport delays in some places. Matter of fact, I saw an interview with a sister in Atlanta just yesterday. She arrived at the airport 6 hours before her flight just to make sure she could get to the gate. That's a lot of time.
So I
That's a lot of time.
believe that right now, MSY is encouraging travelers to arrive 3 hours ahead of time, at least
Correct.
3 hours ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for
Yeah.
domestic flights, it's normally 2. For international flights, it's normally 4. So as this delay continues, right, this is impacting people's ability to travel conveniently, obviously.
Absolutely. And for those of you who may not check before you go, it's a good idea to check the airport's website or some of the other flight websites to see where there's heavy flight traffic. Because if there's lots of flights going out, then there's lots more people going at that time. So if you're flying, it doesn't mean you'll be caught up in all of this if you're flying at a time when there are 10 flights versus 40 flights.
Correct. So it may
that
behoove folks to schedule their flights at times where there's less air traffic.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, it's 7:11 a.m. and it's time for us to take a break, and we'll get back to some of the things that we talked about in the opening of the show. And we'd love to hear what you have to say. You're hearing our voices, Will Sutton and Mason Harrison, but we'd love to hear from you. Can't they do something about that?
They can. They can give us a call at 504-582-9422. That's 504-582-9422.
You're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4
Good
p.m.
Tuesday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. New details this morning on how law firms tied to the Stage Rex trial could face great financial fallout. It comes as sentencing for convicted lawyers Vanessa Mata and Jason Giles will take place later this year. Federal prosecutors are expected to ask for restitution from Mata, Giles, and their firms, the King Firm and Model Law Firm. WDSU is told that large trucking companies and their insurers who paid out now fraudulent claims will be seeking to recoup all that money. Sentencing is set for July, but there are also civil lawsuits in the works, so those trials also are in the firms, and lawyers could start sometime sooner. We're less than a month away from the Jazz and Heritage Festival, and this morning the coveted cubes are set to be released. That's the performance times, and the stage is set each artist will be performing on. Some big headliners this year are Stevie Nicks, Rod Stewart, and the Eagles. The official Jazz Fest poster will also be unveiled today. Jazz Fest runs the last weekend of April and the first weekend of May. Single-day tickets are on sale now. And negotiations are underway to update the Smoothie King Center in a big, much-needed way. Bunker suites and party areas would also be created in newly renovated concourse areas. The outside of the building would get an upgrade and be reimagined with a fan area that connects to the Champion Square. All in all, the project would turn the entire area into a more viable entertainment district. While price details have not yet been released, sources tell WDSU the cost of the renovation could be more than $500 million. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars, because the real ones always stay informed.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Somewhere to be at 7:30. You got about 15 minutes to get there. Make sure that you're taking care of all the things you can take care of at home, including grabbing your keys. Wouldn't want to go out without that. Including checking the eyelashes, the beard. Check any little gray that you like to pick out or color. And make sure that you grab your wallet and your cell phone And if you need to look in the mirror to see if everything's there, go ahead and open that big smile and take a look. Make sure you got everything you need. These are things you can do at home and should do at home. Please don't drive and take care of these things. We've got babies and kiddos on the way to school. The school zone speed limit is still in effect until 9 a.m., which is about the time that we'll be getting on the way for the front porch today. So we look forward to sharing more news and information with you. And there is a talk line. What's that talk line, Mason?
504-582-9422.
All right, let's talk about HBCUs and big donations.
Yes.
We got another one from somebody whose name we've heard before.
This is true. So Mackenzie Scott, who at one point in her life was married to Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, has decided as of 2019 to give away at least half of her fortune. And part of what she is doing is donating to historically black colleges and universities and making quite significant contributions in the histories of those various schools. The latest contribution is a record-breaking $42 million to Elizabeth City State University. It's the largest dollar per student enrolled gift of any HBCU that Scott has contributed to thus far. This announcement was made just recently at the Founders Day convocation at that university. So quite significant, and that will help them provide for students and obviously go toward their endowment.
Incredible. Any university, PWI, MSI, HBCU would be happy to get $1 million from anybody. And when you talk about multiple millions, yes, Harvard would be excited to get multiple millions. But for an HBCU to get multiple millions and to get $42 million, that is a fundamental institution changing kind of donation and investment.
It is, and we should also say that Mackenzie Scott has donated to our very own Xavier University. And this, if billionaires are going to exist, in my view, and they shouldn't, but if they are for the time being, then this is what they should be doing with their money.
Well, and I love that she made this commitment. She made it public so she can be checked on it as she moves along. And she seems to be doing it.
Yeah, and hopefully this inspires others of means to make these contributions as well. But I should say that ultimately, though, the funding of schools from which we graduate, I think in large part, should be the primary responsibility and goal of those who graduate, right? So we talk a lot about the funding of HBCUs and how that funding is not at parity with PWIs or predominantly white institutions. And for public HBCUs, that is certainly a case to be made. But once again, for those who graduate from these institutions, right, that's where a lot of money comes from all schools. It comes from former graduates. And so my question is, well, why are we not contributing in levels that we should be? Now, this might be an argument of whether or not we have discretionary income. But once again, right, who doesn't have $5? And you can make a $5 monthly contribution to your institution, and these dollars add up.
Yeah, and that's been a struggle for HBCUs in particular for decades, not years, but decades.
Since their inception.
Because other donors or possible donors want to know, well, what do you do? And what do your people do? What do your alumni do? Has your board donated? They want to know these things. And part of that is they're looking at percentages.
Correct.
Not the amount. They just want to know what percent and how much, because they looked at that as a gauge of support and investment from the people who benefited from it and from the people who say, rah, 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 this is my school.
So if you as a graduate do not find value in your institution, why should anyone else?
And that's their point. We'll give you. And so what's different, one of the things that's really different about Mackenzie Scott's donations generally, but particularly to HBCUs, is that her team does assessments and evaluations quietly. And so even if you learn that they're looking at you, it doesn't mean that you're going to get some money. It could mean that you're under consideration. It could mean you're in the preliminary stages and there's nothing coming that year, the next year, or any year. But one of the stipulations they put on their donations for these HBCUs is no stipulation, which is huge. If money can go into a general operating fund, that is huge. Or if money can go into investment and then you can use what you wean off annually, monthly from that investment, that's a lot of money.
It is.
And that, I mean, that's big, because oftentimes when HBCU alums donate, it's because I was in the world famed Tiger Marching Band. I wanted to go here. Or I was in journalism communications at Hampton. Or I was in nursing at Xavier. And that's okay, and that is good. But when you get somebody to give money, $100, and say, use it however you wish, the university really applauds, because that's a big deal.
It does, because normally these dollars, as you said, come with stipulations, right? So this is allocated for this particular project, or you are restricted from using these dollars for these particular areas. But when a gift of that size, or any gift, but particularly of that size, is unrestricted, it can be institution changing for these schools.
Yeah. So just to give you some idea of just a few, we've got Bennett College has alumni donation rates of about 35%. Tuskegee is about 23%. Spelman is about 35. Virginia Union is at 41. So that's pretty good. But then you have some schools like Jackson State University, Mississippi Valley State University. They're like at 6%. So that's not great. And not all these are recent figures. So let me be clear: something has maybe changed significantly in the last few months, a year or two. But that's what we're talking about when people see the number and percentage of HBCU alums donating. It has a bigger impact.
The numbers that you just mentioned are actually quite good. The national average is anywhere between 5 or 6 to 7, 8, sometimes 9%. Now, elite institutions average somewhere between 30 and 40%.
Mm-hmm.
So some of those numbers that you've mentioned that are at the higher end are actually in line with elite institutions.
Right.
But all, however, are above the national average. So for those of you in the listening audience who are graduates of HBCUs and you want to see this type of giving continue, and if you are not listed currently as a contributor, then I encourage you to contact your alumni association or whatever vehicle exists at your school to house contributions from graduates and sign up to contribute on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's a great deal. Meanwhile, cheers for Mackenzie Scott, $42 million, and Elizabeth
City State University.
State University got a big win there, and that is huge for an institution like that. I mean, just realistically, how many of you all have heard of Elizabeth City State University?
Which is in New Jersey, if my memory serves me correctly.
No, it's in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah,
okay.
I live there. I've been to Elizabeth City State University, like a number of HBCUs. They've had their ups and downs, and not just related to funding. And it's a part of the University of North Carolina system because they have one system there, unlike here where we have multiple higher education systems. And so there are always concerns about the level of funding for their institution when you have other schools in the system like University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and when you have North Carolina State University. And then in the HBCU realm, you have North Carolina Central University, which also includes a law school. So all of these institutions competing for state dollars and state support, but also competing for donor dollars as well. Well, it's 7:26 a.m., time for a break, and we're going to be taking a break, and coming back, we'll have more news and information for you. And don't forget, we got Inspire NOLA's own Jamar McNeil coming up to talk with us about the Inspire NOLA Gala and some big names and big doings that are going to be taking place leading up to that gala, what will be happening and what's going to be happening on the day of the gala. 7:26 a.m. You got to be somewhere at 7:30. You got 4 minutes, so you just might make it. And we'd love to hear from you, wouldn't we, Mason?
We would. You can give us a call at 504-582-9422. That's 504-582-9422. When we come back, we'll talk about a woman who's being held on murder charges after she aborted her premature fetus in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, and we're going to hear about a big drug bust as well, local drug bust. Pretty big. So we're going to hear about that as well. All right, 7:27 a.m. This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Slightly drier air is in place today as a weak cold front moved in, so a pleasant feel to the air. Highs today reached 79 to 83 degrees, but that humidity rising once again as it gets to later on throughout the day. But then for tonight, looking at lows, 57 to 62, partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, 79 to 84. More 80s as we go throughout the rest of the week. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Reed.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
The National World War II Museum. Located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans, the National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
Well, Saints of God, this is Pastor David Impartan Sr. coming to you over the airways of WBOK, your favorite host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want to invite you to our show every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. That's Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want you to invite your family and friends to a broadcast that's designed to change your life, the way you think, the way you act, and what you eat. We want you to tune in every Saturday at 1 o'clock, WBOK, 12:30 a.m. See you on Saturday.
The Historic New Orleans Collection presents a new exhibition open through June 7th, 2026, The Trail They Blazed. Built collaboratively with people who participated in the local civil rights movement, The Trail They Blazed presents stories of social and racial justice straight from the people who lived them. Listen to leaders tell their stories of resistance and persistence in their own voices, recorded by the Historic New Orleans Collection. Plan your visit to 520 Royal Street in the French Quarter and reserve your free tickets at hnoc.org today.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
operation spanning 2 separate parishes from Orleans to Jefferson. WDSU reporter Elizabeth Kubel is live at NOPD headquarters with a look at how this unfolded, Elizabeth, and just how many drugs and guns that officers were able to take off the streets.
Exactly right, Stella. It was really quite the seizure here. We're talking hundreds of plants of marijuana and more than 50 guns. I want to show you right now. We'll put some pictures up right here on your screen. These are images that officers just showed to us. So this all started in Jefferson Parish, where deputies say that just a couple of days ago, they took information from previous cases and found extensive indoor grows in 2 homes, one in Harvey, another in Avondale. That investigation, they say, then expanded into Algiers, where the NOPD says they recovered firearms that had been modified to machine guns along with drugs.
So we had 92 juvenile marijuana plants and 185 adult plants. We had high-intensity grow lights, ventilation systems, irrigation equipment, and cultivation materials. We also seized approximately $5,400 in cash.
Now, 2 people in those Jefferson Parish scenes have been arrested. However, the NOPD says that they still are looking for a 3rd person right now, a 3rd suspect on several guns and drug charges. Reporting live at NOPD headquarters, I'm Elizabeth Kubel, WDSU News.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing that with us, WDSU. Appreciate having the opportunity to use one of your reports. It gives us a overview of what happened with the New Orleans Police Department and the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office, with Jefferson Parish Sheriff LaPinto and New Orleans Police Chief Kirkpatrick leading those investigations overall. But Kirkpatrick in particular made a point of having the officer who actually worked this join them at the news conference yesterday. Multiple parish investigation, large-scale drug trafficking indoor cultivation network. This spanned Orleans and Jefferson Parish and a number of different locations. And so they seized 50 guns, and there's a suspect at large, but quite a bust.
Yeah.
Quite a bust. I mean, I'm not sure I remember 50 guns being seized and that number of drugs and other paraphernalia. But the picture of the guns laid out on the floor is disturbing to me. I mean, I don't mind people having guns. If they have them legally and they are registered and all have trained and all of that, but I don't get the idea of people having this number of guns. And I'd be willing to bet that this number of guns, not registered. Illegal.
So the guns are certainly of concern. Mm-hmm. The cannabis less so for me. Mm-hmm. But not just guns, but the type of guns, right? Yes. So these are long guns, many of them. Many of them you might find on a battlefield. And so we certainly don't want our communities to become battlefields. And so I think when it comes to removing these types of weapons of war from our streets, this is certainly something that I would think is a good thing.
Okay. So 277 marijuana plants and 35 pounds of packaged marijuana supposedly ready for distribution. Mm-hmm. Would that be okay if it weren't connected to all the guns?
Legally, no. But if you're asking my personal opinion,
yeah,
well,
I'm
sure.
For your opinion.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. I think that it is long since time that we legalize, if not decriminalize, recreation or casual possession of cannabis. And so if these would-be entrepreneurs want to go into this business and have it be licensed and taxed, then I see no reason why that should be an objection. Um, you can make the argument that there are some public health factors related to legalizing cannabis possession, but there are many contributing factors when it comes to public health that we regulate and tax and allow for the distribution of. So I don't see why this should be excluded. The weapons possession issues, though, is something that concerns me.
Yeah, because some of those weapons, whoever was doing this, parts were put together to make them machine guns.
Yes.
Which is really powerful, more powerful than a rifle or a pistol handgun shooting its normal intention as manufactured, which is dangerous enough, especially illegal. But to make them machine guns, it had to be some evil intent. I mean, you say, "Oh, I'm a hunter, machine gun hunting."
Some people actually do.
Yeah.
I've read that there are those people who have wild boars on their property who actually use machine guns to dispatch the boars, which gives me some pause. But I don't think that these gentlemen are going to be hunting any type of hooved animal anytime soon. So I think that it is appropriate that private militias have long guns. I do not think it is appropriate that every citizen should be in possession of long guns, even handguns for that matter.
Yeah, right. So if any of you all live on Aspen Drive or DeVero Court or there are the police are looking for more information to find out more about what happened in this situation. And if you know more, the New Orleans Police Department, the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office would like to hear more from you. There is one suspect identified, and his name is Long Pham, Longpham. He is facing multiple charges, including manufacturing and distribution of narcotics, possession with intent to distribute controlled substances, and possession of firearms in furtherance of drug activity, including illegal machine guns.
So you encourage people to contact the police?
I do. And in this case, I mean, I'm concerned about all of these guns in particular, and I'm not sure 35 pounds is casual use. But I hear your desire for them if they want to go into business. But that's not a place where we are right now. So
Correct.
For me, that's the difference, is this is where we are and abiding by the law, even if I don't like the law. And it's not a direct parallel, but if the law says, and if your police department policy says, you will not do these things to people that you stop or suspect, I want the police to follow the law too. So it's what the law is and how it's applied, and if it's applied reasonably. And then let's work on changing the law.
So question, when does an unjust law require an illegal act?
That's a good question. And for me, I think that varies in the situation because if it's one individual making a decision, that can be challenging and troubling. But if a group identifies the cons, let's say there are a few pros, the cons, and they come together and they have an organized effort, I think that's different.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's different. And so they understand they're taking on a risk, but the risk is a shared risk, and it's a public education opportunity. So they know what they're doing, but they're getting more people to understand what they're doing and why. And frankly, without those types of risks with unjust laws over the decades, we wouldn't be where we are.
Correct.
Now, obviously, they are trying to take us back to places where we've been that we don't want to go back to. But there's so many things with civil rights, with gun control. I mean, we didn't have all these guns before, but we've loosened so much that we have far too many, even legal guns. So there are things like that. So that's kind of, it might seem like it's a gray line because I'm not saying that everybody should do anything that they want to do. I'm not there. But I think there are places, times, with some human capacity organization where that can be worth it.
So there are roughly 300 million Americans and by some estimates 500 million guns or so.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
More than enough.
Yes, more than enough. So I don't know how we're going to do with taking those away. So we got to deal with what we are able to do in these cases. One of them is to get guns off of the street with busts like this. Another one is to do what's been done in New Orleans and other places so long, which is bring your guns to us. And just do it because you should, or do it and we'll give you a video game or, whatever. And so that might not seem like a large impact, but any gun taken off the street that shouldn't be on the street, I'm fine with them playing a video game, in exchange for increasing the safety of their household, their street, their neighborhood.
So you're referring to these gun buyback programs,
Yes.
which were really popular in the 1990s.
Yep.
There's not much evidence that they work in terms of reducing gun violence. What we've seen is that oftentimes people will bring in guns that are barely functional, and the most lethal weapons remain on the street. Those who would engage in antisocial behavior via gun violence tend to hold on to their weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not those who were looking for, as you said, a video game or some other type of compensation. I think the broader issue is definitely the proliferation of firearms, but then also the reasons behind the internalization of colonial violence that we see in our communities. These are longstanding issues and tougher issues to combat. But to the extent that, I will offer any praise to law enforcement, then certainly removing a cachet of this size, I think, is noteworthy.
Yes, indeed. I agree. So, meanwhile, we got other things going on in the world, including a war in Iran.
We do.
And we also have a case in Georgia that we think is worthy of your note and to be aware of. So that Georgia case, want to talk about that?
So a 31-year-old U.S. Army veteran from Georgia, her name is Alexia Moore, has been charged with murder after allegedly taking pills to induce an abortion before delivering a premature baby girl who later died. Moore said that she did not know how many weeks pregnant she was, but medical records indicate that she was between 22 and 24 weeks. Georgia prohibits abortion after 6 weeks. She delivered a severely premature baby girl who was born alive and survived for 1 hour. Under the Georgia law, the victim became a person at the moment of live birth. An investigator working the case wrote that Moore told the nursing staff, "I know my infant is suffering because I am the one who did the abortion. I want her to die." Moore has a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old child. Her mother, Edith Moore, who is a pastor, spoke highly of her daughter, despite how the situation has caused a strain within their family. Her mother said, "As a mother, and me, speaking as a grandmother, I believe she's an excellent mother. I believe her children are her life. She's been a good provider to her children." So she's been held in the Camden County Jail since March 4th. And she is facing murder charges in Georgia. And obviously, this is a very polarizing issue. And pro-life and pro-choice communities are both speaking out on this case. Your thoughts, Will?
That's a toughie. Now, I don't think we've heard the pastor speak to this in general, just specifically about her daughter. But I'm going to take a leap and think that if this were involved in another family, that pastor quite possibly might think that this was not a good thing.
Perhaps there are pro-choice pastors.
There are some. And you know, it's Georgia, and somebody could say it's Louisiana. So it does make a difference if it's the Atlanta metro area, the New Orleans metro area. But even in major cities, there are very conservative pastors. But it does make a difference when it's your kin. And I think that's the part of what more people need to understand, that these involve people and loved ones making health decisions. And if this young lady had 2 kids, it appears that she's not opposed to having children. And based on her mother's comments, she enjoys and loves having children. But for whatever reason, this was a case where she did not think this was the best of timing for her. We don't know all of what was going on in her head, all of what's going on with her family, how well she's able to support the 6 and 9-year-old, whether there's a broader village that is helping, whether she and her mother are estranged or together and being helpful. We don't know all of those things. And because we don't, I'm less likely to judge her without additional information. It really breaks my heart that a baby was born alive and died in an hour. I mean, oh boy, that gets me.
The reports were that the would-be daughter of Ms. Moore was struggling to breathe throughout her short existence. So obviously this infant suffered, and you are right, we do not know all of the circumstances surrounding her decision to terminate her pregnancy. She's a parent of 2 and apparently decided that a third would not be something that she wanted to do.
Right. And that decision of hers was not made on the day that the child was birthed. So that's another thing about some, I'll call it self-help abortions. You're making that decision. And most of the time, the research shows, I believe the research shows that it's fine. Otherwise, it wouldn't be approved by the FDA.
So that's a good point. So I should also say that she's being charged with possession of illegal drugs. And so she...
Were those drugs what she used to get the abortion?
Correct. So she used one of the abortion pills, of which there are 2 that are readily available and approved. Well, readily available depending upon where you live.
Oh, that's true.
And approved by the FDA. And so these are, so to speak, over-the-counter options to terminate a pregnancy. And in the state of Georgia, possession of these drugs has been outlawed. So what states have done after the overturning of Roe v. Wade is to prevent women in states where abortion has been effectively outlawed, to prevent them from ordering online this medication. And so in the state of Georgia, if you're found to be in possession of this and then use this to terminate a pregnancy, you can be charged both for injury to the fetus and then also possession of an unlawful substance. So there has been an attempt for a doctor, I believe in California or New York, who has been readily prescribing medication to women across the country. And there's been attempts to extradite her to at least one state where possession of this of these drugs is unlawful. But of course, California, I believe it's California, has refused, or maybe it's New York, I don't recall immediately, but one of those states has refused to extradite her.
Well, if there are any doctors or health professionals listening, those drugs were the approved how do you say that? Misoprostol. Paul, and then she took a opioid in addition to that. So it might have been a matter of the 2 drugs as opposed to the one prescribed drug to end the pregnancy.
So the opioid may have been to, and I don't know, but that may have been to
it's for pain.
Address any pain, correct?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that's the pain, and that is something that, frankly, is commonly prescribed. Like if you get tooth extraction, or if you have a serious pain that's been going for 2 or 3 days, you go to the doctor and you're going to have to wait it out, but we can reduce the pain. And so you might get a prescribed medicine for pain. And certainly childbirth is painful.
And I should say, I need to correct something. I said over the counter. They're available via prescription, not
Yes,
over the counter.
right.
So mifepristone and misoprostol. So misoprostol is what she took in addition to the opioid. And so she would have had to have ordered this online.
Right, absolutely. Unfortunate case. It is 7:52 a.m. You're listening to the voices of Will Sutton and Mason Harrison. We'd like to hear your voice if you're so inclined. We certainly welcome you to listen and or watch. That's perfectly fine. And we know that calls are great, but listeners are the maximum. They're the best. So you don't have to be a successful listener only if you call. So we appreciate all of you all who are listening to the Good Morning Show. It's 7:53 a.m. 7 minutes until 8 a.m. If you got somewhere to be at 8, please, on your way out, make sure you've got everything you need and be careful and watch the babies and the kiddos, especially as you get closer to schools and drive that 20 miles per hour school zone speed limit. Watch out for those teen kiddos. They're kids. They think they're grown. They got hair on their face and hair in their under their arms, and they think they're grown, but they're into their phones and crossing the street not looking. So watch out for them. Make sure you avoid them so they can get on in there and finish high school. All right, you're listening to WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Cities across the country are struggling to provide affordable housing, but New Rochelle, a city just a train ride away from Manhattan, is working on a new approach that's bolstering affordable places to live. Led by Mayor Yadira Ramos-Herbert, the New Rochelle model is responsible for adding over 4,500 new housing units, with an additional 6,500 units on the way. Mayor Ramos-Herbert spoke to Bloomberg about how the city is using public-private partnerships and more to make it all happen.
We worked with the community here. What do you want to see in New Rochelle? And through our public-private partnership, we've enhanced plazas, we've brought murals, we've increased EV charging stations, we've bought a black box theater right to our main street, we're opening parklets. And so really working together, providing assurances to developers, everybody essentially wins. Never mind that rents are actually holding steady and actually decrease the median rent.
Mayor Ramos-Herbert is the first woman and first person of color to become mayor of New Rochelle. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Want consistent color for every job? Milo's Pro Rewards members get a 20% paint discount on future purchases after paint annual qualifying spend reaches $3,000. Plus, order eligible in-stock paint and paint supplies by 2 p.m. for free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Improving is easy at Lowe's. Excludes spray paint and mist tints. More exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Subject to change. Details at Lowe's.com/terms. Same-day delivery valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at Lowe's.com/same-day delivery.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Come celebrate the history, legacy, and culture of the African diaspora with the Congo Squares Rhythm Festival presented by the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation on March 28th and 29th in Louis Armstrong Park. Don't miss 2 full days of live musical performances featuring Chawa, Zigaboo Modaliste, Big Sam's Funky Nation, and many, many more. A variety of food vendors, handmade works of art, and the return of the highly anticipated Class Got Brass competition. This event is free and open to the public. For more information, visit CongoSquareRhythms.com.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Comparing the cost of will, successions, and trusts.
A will might only be a few $100s, but your family could end up paying more in legal fees.
Trust costs more upfront, but saves time, stress, and potentially thousands.
Think of it as paying a little now to avoid a big bill later. Smart planning means big savings for your family. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK. WBOK New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. During an appearance on CNN's State of the Union, Israel's ambassador Michael Leiter said striking Iran's infrastructure isn't off the table after President Trump threatened to hit Iran's power plants unless the Strait of Hormuz opens in 48 hours.
And what we have to do is ultimately create a situation where there's not a regime in Tehran that's exporting terrorism and death and destruction.
Iran's military warns it would target similar U.S. and allied facilities. The Justice Department is asking a judge to drop all remaining charges against the 2 Louisville officers accused of falsifying the warrant in the Breonna Taylor raid, calling the move in the interest of justice. And Brandy will receive her Hollywood Walk of Fame star on March 30th. Her 1998 hit The Boy Is Mine set a 13-week #1 record, plus starring roles in Moesha and Cinderella. Kenneth Babyface Edmonds and Issa Rae will speak. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am Will Sutton, and with me is Mason Harrison. We appreciate each and every one of you who is listening, or whether you tuned in at 702-08-12, 720, or if you're just tuning in, you're right on time. It's 8 o'clock, and Mason and I are going to be jumping into a conversation about Iran and the Iran war, and whose war is it?
That's right. Whose war is it?
Whose war is it? So let's talk about that. We have some thoughts about that, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. So, Mason, what's that talk line number they can call so they can get in line, get ready if they choose? Otherwise, we're going to have the conversation.
They can give us a call at 504-582-9422. That's 504-582-9422.
All right, Mason, I want you to set it up.
So there's a story that I found interesting in Blavity. This was published over the weekend, and the headline is "The Iran War Disproportionately Impacts Black Americans, and Here's How." And the author here, Maya Bodhi, lists 3 particular issues. Number 1 on the list is that the fact that Black Americans serve in the military at disproportionate rates. And while we make up only 13.7% of the U.S. population, we make up roughly 19% of active duty military enlistments. And so therefore, if there is going to be extensive conflict with Iran beyond what we've currently seen, particularly as the president has alluded to, the potential for ground troops, then Black people will certainly be disproportionately impacted by that. In addition, the human cost of the war continues to ripple through Black communities. When the U.S. goes to war, Black Americans, whether as civilians, enlisted personnel, or military families, often carry a disproportionate share of the burden. And this is according to a member of Black Press USA. Black service members have historically been overrepresented in front-line roles while remaining underrepresented in officer ranks. That imbalance can increase exposure to danger and create long-term disparities in benefits, career advancement, and mental health care. So should this conflict continue, we will see the ripple effects throughout our community in terms of post-traumatic stress disorder, injuries, homelessness, things of this nature. And then last but not least, the war's economic impact, of course, will continue to hit Black families hard. As I'm sure you know, there's the expression that when white folks catch cold, we catch pneumonia, economically speaking. Mm-hmm. And so as gas prices continue to rise and the other financial impacts of this war continue, we will feel it most. And so there have been many online who have said this is not our conflict. I happen to agree. I believe that we are a nation within a nation, and therefore we should have our own foreign policy. And the people of Iran are not our enemies. In the 1970s, when the Ayatollah came to power, the students, of course, famously took charge of the U.S. Embassy. And what many people do not know is that they released the Black workers, held on to the whites, and released the Black workers because of what they recognize is that Black people, being a colonized people, are not their enemy. This has been getting a lot of traction on social media, and there's a clip that went viral on TikTok with 4 million views that we want to play, and then we'll discuss on the other side.
Hey, Iran. First and foremost, assalamu alaikum. Okay? Happy Ramadan. Yes, you want to get my formalities out the way. That ain't got nothing to do with us. You know, I'm just here to speak on behalf of my people. We ain't never had an issue with y'all. My name is actually Arabic. And as a matter of fact, if you knew anything about niggas, we really do admire the Muslim community. As a matter of fact, when our brothers go to prison, they come out, mashallah. A whole lot of niggas don't even eat pork just off the strength of solidarity. Have y'all ever heard of Malcolm X? Y'all would have loved him. If only y'all knew how much Black folks really fuck with y'all. Like, you know how many Samajes is walking around? My son's middle name is Ali. Let's be a little bit more intentional with our get back. Y'all have our permission.
Okay.
So the sentiment that she is expressing is one that I share, but I take it you feel differently.
Well, I do. And for some of those very same reasons, I think it is, it's not our war, as you put it, but it matters a lot to us. And so I don't think we should separate ourselves from what's going on. So
Meaning?
we have a war, and
but we do not have a war.
Well, the nation, the United States of America, has a war,
and we are a nation within that nation.
Well, okay.
And this is not our war.
Well, okay. Well, you can look at it that way. I am an American.
But that's a colonial identity. Why would you identify yourself as an American?
Well, let's set that aside for the moment.
But you can't.
Well,
because that is the issue. If you identify with the empire, well, then it is your war. But these are not our wars. This war is designed to upend a regime that is hostile or has a different approach to American foreign policy, which is to support the settler colonial state of Israel. And we know that there is a plan to dismantle all states in the region that are opposed to Israeli settler colonialism, right? Wesley Clark spoke about this. After 9/11, there was a 7-nation plan, and they have eliminated all nations save for Iran, and they are destroying Sudan as we speak. And this clip is readily available online. What we are seeing right now is a part of that strategy. It has nothing to do with us.
Well,
never has.
I don't think it can. It's accurate to say it has nothing to do with us. If this nation,
we will feel the impact.
Well, that's right, and that's an important.
But
part
we are
of
not
why
at war with Iran.
That is an important part of why Black people should care.
But this is not our war.
Okay, so if you want to use our war, I'm talking about why Black people should care and why this
How do you define
matters,
care?
And how this matters to us.
How do you define care?
Well, some of the very things that you said, like disproportionately.
Which is why we should be opposed to the war.
Well, you can care about the war and the politics and all of that and be opposed to the war.
But they're one and the same.
No, okay. Well, I disagree.
So Iran is your enemy for what reason?
I don't think. Well, first of all, the leadership has been an evil.
How do you know
leadership.
that? Who told you that?
Well,
where did you learn that?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of
through the same U.S. bourgeois media that's littered with Zionists who want you to believe that.
Do you think we have an evil leader here?
All leadership is evil. All states are bad. All states should be dismantled.
No.
Of course they should be. Why shouldn't they be? You agree with the state?
How could you have any nation, any state without leadership? What are we going to have? Just random groups?
We should demolish the state. And if you understand what the state is,
and then what comes after that?
A truly democratic society, a just society in which we do not live.
And so nobody's
So
in
what
charge.
is the purpose of a state?
So nobody is in charge.
That's not what I said.
Okay, so what is?
Although all hierarchies should be dismantled, why does there need to be leadership?
Okay, well, how would we?
But
operate?
before I can answer that, what is a state? What is the purpose of a state?
It's an organized in our nation. It's an organized part of a nation.
Wrong. The purpose of a state is to adjudicate class conflict, and all states are run by the ruling class.
So you think no matter who is in charge, no matter who is a part of a state government, public or elected, that they are doing evil things?
Yes, for this reason. Because in order to maintain a state, you must do it through violence. And we want a non-violent society, a truly non-violent and just society. And state formation is unjust. All states are run by the ruling class. A state is a corporation. It is a business entity designed to enrich the ruling class. And those of us who are not in the ruling class suffer because of the policies of all states. All states should be dismantled.
Okay.
And therefore,
how can you support someone's political campaign for office?
We shouldn't be supporting political campaigns for office. Until we dismantle, ultimately, that is not what we should be doing.
Well, but that is what we're doing.
And we shouldn't be.
Well, why would any of us work on campaigns as a volunteer or staff?
The reason why people work on campaigns is because of jobs and contracts. That is the issue. That is why people work on campaigns.
Absolutely.
The narrative is that somehow this is good for your community. But at the end of the day, it's about jobs and contracts. Now, until such time that we dismantle the state, yes, we want people in office who are better than the alternative. But that should not be the ultimate goal. This is all reformism. And what we want are non-reformist reforms. We want to take a radical position, not a reformist or incremental position.
So take somebody like Barack Obama.
Yes, okay? Barack Obama.
Were you in support of Barack Obama's candidacy?
Over the alternative? Sure.
Right. So and the reason, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason you were is because of the framework, the nation as it exists. Not that this nation is what you would like to see exist, but this is what we have. And so among the people who are running on whatever you want to call it, right, left, middle, Democrat, Republican, otherwise, of those people, you and others thought this was our best choice. And yes, we love that.
Not the best choice, but given the two that are going to win, either Republican or Democrat, then sure. But at the end of the day, what we don't want is that type of system of governance. We don't want presidents, especially not those who are imbued with the type of power that the current administration has. This should be demolished. And so this goes back to what you and I spoke about previously, about there are no such thing as good presidents. Because every president...
I know that's how you feel, but
it's not simply how I feel. It's a recitation of the record. If one looks at the record, there is no such thing as a good president when you understand what the role of a president is. The job of the president is to be CEO of the empire. Right. And imperialism is not good. We suffer under imperialism. And to the extent that some of us benefit from imperialism, none of us should. But back to my point about the Iran war, this is not our war. Our only concern should be the treatment and condition of Afro-Iranians from a position of Black solidarity and Pan-Africanism. This war has nothing to do with us. It is the war of the ruling class and special interests. And Iran has been on their list for the past 40 some odd years. This has nothing to do with us.
There are probably about 1 million Afro-Iranians in the southern part of the nation.
Correct.
So they are active and living there. And frankly, they've been discriminated against within the nation of Iran.
As all of us are, wherever we are. And that should be our concern, the fate of Afro-Iranians.
And so that's clear. But I think as human beings, most of us can agree that, just to use one example, one number, the killing of 30,000 of your own people is not a good idea.
That was not true. That was not true. More Western propaganda. 30,000 people were not killed in the protest in Iran. That is another lie from the bourgeois-controlled media.
Okay, how many is too much? If it was one person?
One person is too much, which is why we want to dismantle states. Because states are, in order to maintain a state, one must do so through violence. In every state, no matter if it's the Islamic Republic of Iran or the United States of America or the Commonwealth of Canada, all states exist to serve the interests of the ruling class.
Well, here's what I have to say about this, and as we go to a break. You can want something different than the setup that we have with the United States of America.
Not just want, we should work toward it.
No. But if you want that, that's one thing. And we can agree and disagree on how we get there and what that might look like. But since we are where we are, I strongly suggest that people oppose the war and want the higher, better level of humanity and justice in this world, but stay focused on what this evil man is doing in Washington, D.C., because every day and every week there's more that evil that is coming than good. And so we need to rely on those who have some good role in the imperial nation to do good work, to push back and limit the impact of what we're doing, because Black people, and especially Africans in the Middle East, not just in Iran, are being affected economically, and we need to be paying attention to it. Too many times people will say, I oppose the war, and they drop off the face of the earth. They just oppose it, and they just go away. We can't afford to do that at all. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more of that, and then we'll be talking about the Inspire NOLA Gala that's coming up. This is WBOK, and what's that talk line number?
Give us a call at 504-582-9422. You've heard what Will and I think. What do you think? 504-582-9422.
You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4
Good
p.m.
Tuesday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. New details this morning on how law firms tied to the Stage Rex trial could face great financial fallout. It comes as sentencing for convicted lawyers Vanessa Mata and Jason Giles will take place later this year. Federal prosecutors are expected to ask for restitution from Mata, Giles, and their firms, the King Firm and Mata Law Firm. WDSU is told that large trucking companies and their insurers who paid out now fraudulent claims will be seeking to recoup all that money. Sentencing is set for July, but there are also civil lawsuits in the works, so those trials also are in the firms, and lawyers could start sometime sooner. We're less than a month away from the Jazz and Heritage Festival, and this morning the coveted cubes are set to be released. That's the performance times, and the stage is set each artist will be performing on. Some big headliners this year are Stevie Nicks, Rod Stewart, and the Eagles. The official Jazz Fest poster will also be unveiled today. Jazz Fest runs the last weekend of April and the first weekend of May. Single-day tickets are on sale now. And negotiations are underway to update the Smoothie King Center in a big, much-needed way. Bunker suites and party areas would also be created in newly renovated concourse areas. The outside of the building would get an upgrade and be reimagined with a fan area that connects to the Champion Square. All in all, the project would turn the entire area into a more viable entertainment district. While price details have not yet been released, sources tell WDSU the cost of the renovation could be more than $500 million. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK.
Missed a show? Want to hear that guest everyone's talking about? WBOK is now streaming on all your favorite podcast apps. Just search WBOK Media, hit download, share with a friend, and don't forget to rate your favorite shows 5 stars. Because when our voices are heard, our impact grows.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and with me is Mason Harrison. We had a lively conversation about Iran, and we love to hear from you. We've got a caller. Mr. Aaron, you're on with Will Sutton and Mason Harrison. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm Will. Thanks for asking. How you doing, Brother Will? What's going on with you, my brother Mason?
All right. Good morning. All right.
Yeah, you're right. First, y'all already know, shouts out to the Fatherhood Roundtable as well as the Huey P. Newton Gun Club. Brother Mason, like I told you the last time when I talked to you, be unapologetic who you are. See, a lot of us have our head in the sand about what's actually going on. And by us not really paying attention to what's going on, it keeps me and you and people like us at odds with other people, because when we come and bring truth and speak reality, some of us want to refute that and make it seem like what we are seeing is not what we are seeing, which is why when the Orange Man, right, gave that money to Argentina during the so-called government shutdown, they didn't say, even some of our politicians, they never said the reason why he did that, because if you remember, after when the Nazis fled, I lost my train of thought. But when they fled Argentina, when they fled Germany, Argentina opened up asylum to the Nazis. And we all know that Argentina is the capital for white supremacy and white patriarchal rule. So exactly what you were saying about those presidents, that is true. But some of us, we have this unadulterated love for this system to where we can't even see clearly. Brother Will, you was in Philadelphia when this same government who some of us believe in dropped the bomb on the MOVE organization, correct?
Yep, that's right. I was there.
So these atrocities does not change. It's the same old, no matter who sits in those seats. The agenda must be done, which is why when it comes to our community, this same system sets up these so-called black leaders. So when things get ready to happen, they hit this thing what I call Operation Cool Down and send these so-called black leaders to our community, y'all calm down. It's gonna be all right. You gotta no. We like Fannie Lou Hamer said, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then some of these same old politicians take money from the same people that keep us oppressed, and then come into our communities and be like, everything gonna be all right. How? When we know when some of these people that keep us oppressed, y'all taking money from them, and then they putting the boot up our behind, and they're using y'all to use Vaseline and political Novocaine to keep us quiet and simplify. So, Brother Mason, I'm in with this. You keep on being who you is, brother, straight up, and don't let nobody betwixt you or make you think that you're crazy, because we, people like us, we understand and know why Denzel Washington received an award from playing Training Day, but didn't receive an award from playing Cry Freedom and playing Malcolm X. Y'all take it easy.
All right.
Thank you, Aaron.
Blessings. Have a great day, Aaron. Okay, folks, we're jumping into a good conversation with Travis Phipps from Inspire NOLA. They've got a scholarship gala coming up, and man, it looks pretty big. I can't wait to have this conversation. How y'all pulling this off? And it hasn't even happened yet. Y'all got all kinds of excitement about this gala. So we are welcoming Travis Phipps from Inspire NOLA. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, what is going on?
Well, at Inspire NOLA, we don't do anything small.
Yeah, my goodness. This is certainly inspirational.
Yes, as we continue, to inspire the city, we have to make sure that whatever we do is going to be for the betterment of the kids of New Orleans, right? And so we have this Inspire the City Scholarship Gala happening this Saturday, March 28th at Generations Hall. And we're honoring a bunch of civic and community leaders. And we're going to, we always have a party with the purpose, steal a line from Essence Festival, a party with the purpose. And we're going to have K. Michelle and John B. headlining the night. We're going to have DJ Raj move on the Wheels of Steel all night. And we're kicking the evening off with a performance by Rochelle Cook. But the purpose of this is to make sure that we are able to pour into our kids. And the goal is to raise money, right? Last year, we were able to give over $35,000 in scholarships to our students with the money we raised from the scholarship gala. And we were also able to do other things for the community, like our NOLA Love rallies. So it's big, and we want everybody to come out and share with us and enjoy themselves on Saturday.
So what do the scholarships fund? So Inspire NOLA operates public charter schools, and so the scholarships are for what?
It's for our students. So we have 7 schools. We have Alice Hart, Eisenhower, Andrew Wilson, Capdo, McDonough 35, Edna Carr, and McMain. So we're able to fund scholarships for our seniors who are graduating. Again, last year we gave over $35,000 in scholarships. We hope to beat that this year, but it helps to get them started on the right foot as they go into college next year.
Okay. And so how long have you been doing this? And for the retention rate, we know that for our students, sometimes the graduation rate is 6 or 7 years as opposed to the national average, which is around 4 or 5. How have you been able to track the success of your students who have received scholarships?
So what's great about Inspire NOLA is we feel like a family, right? Inspire NOLA has been around for going on 13 years now. We've been doing a scholarship gala for several years, but our children are part of us. So when they graduate from high school and they matriculate to college, we also do some internships with them. So they come back and we're able to keep them on paths. The door is always open. So they always have access to our counselors, to their school leaders, to other departments in Inspire NOLA to make sure that they're getting what they need and meeting those goals that they set.
And so how many students, so you said $35,000 last year, about how many students are a part of last year's cohort?
Last year's cohort had about 25 students.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And so I imagine that they will be on hand as well to talk about their successes.
We'll have some at the gala to talk, as well as some of our current student leaders to talk about, how this can help them going forward.
Okay. All right. And so what are some of the challenges right now that charter management organizations are facing? Have there been any headwinds given the change in political direction in the country and or the state?
Well, we at this point, we're always at the at the mercy of what the federal government does as far as some funding, right? Which is why it's important that we have the scholarship gala. Because, as I said, not only does it raise money for scholarships, it raises money for other programs, because we've had situations already where they propose cuts. And so we're able to not have to suffer those cuts because we have money that we raise through this that allows us to fill in those gaps.
Okay. Well, it's 8:26 a.m. We're going to continue this conversation, but we've got to take a break. We definitely need a break to keep supporting this Black Talk radio station. We are in conversation with Travis Phillips from Inspire NOLA. I'm Will Sutton, and I'm here with Mason Harrison. If somebody wants to call, what's that number, Mason?
They can give us a call at 504-582-9422. Be a part of the conversation with Travis Phipps, Deputy Director of Engagement at Inspire NOLA, who's talking about their upcoming scholarship gala. 504-582-9422.
And this is WBOK 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about
all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Slightly drier air is in place today as a weak cold front moved in, so a pleasant feel to the air. Highs today reached 79 to 83 degrees, but that humidity rising once again as it gets to later on throughout the day. But then for tonight, looking at lows, 57 to 62, partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, 79 to 84. More 80s as we go throughout the rest of the week. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Hey, New Orleans, don't miss Conversations with Ron Richardson this Saturday, March 28th, live from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We're thrilled to have Miss Ari Booth. Ari is an HR talent strategist and author of the book, Navigate and Thrive Beyond Dysfunctional Leadership. Ms. Booth is also a Global 40 Under 40 Award nominee. She is also the Director of Strategy for Heart and Hands NOLA, a nonprofit organization here in New Orleans. Tune in to WBOK 1230 a.m. or stream worldwide at WBOK1230.com for an impactful conversation. And remember, healing and recovery start with you.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
Greetings and salutations. I am Elwood B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
Well, Saints of God, this is Pastor David Impartan Sr. coming to you over the airways of WBOK, your favorite host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want to invite you to our show every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. That's Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want you to invite your family and friends to a broadcast that's designed to change your life, the way you think, the way you act, and what you eat. We want you to tune in every Saturday at 1 o'clock, WBOK, 12:30 a.m. See you on Saturday.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. For those of you all who have been tuning in, it's 8:31. If you got somewhere to be at 8:30, you're late. So just go ahead and slow down, because it's not anything's gonna change to make you to be on time. So you might as well get there safely. And remember, our babies and kiddos are still on the way to some schools. The school zone speed limits don't end until 9 a.m., and that's 20 miles per hour. Not 23, not 26, and certainly not 41 saying, well, I was slowing down. Nope, doesn't count. 20 miles per hour. We need you to make sure that you get to where you're going. Don't be one of the crazy drivers. We know we got crazy drivers, and I know that's not you, but make sure you're doing the things that you need to be a safe driver, and to watch out for the babies and the kiddos. Let them get the education that they need. Shout out to the bus drivers and the assistant principals on transportation duty this morning. We know that's how you kick off your day, and we appreciate you. Mason, one of the things that's happening with this Inspired NOLA's thing, and I'm glad we have Travis in with us, is you're a bit younger than me, but I am aware of each of these entertainers. I mean, this is like star quality.
Yeah, so Will and I were quite surprised. We raised our eyebrows when we saw who was going to be performing. So how did you land? Chrisette Michele, John B?
So K. Michelle, actually.
K. Michelle.
And John B. The thing is that when you're having something of this magnitude, you want to make sure the people that's in attendance get an experience, right? And last year we had Carl Thomas. This year we say, how can we make it bigger? How can we, the bigger it is, the more people will come. And the more people that come, the more money we raise, right? So we said, hey, let's see who we can get. And we thought that, R&B legend John B is a great place to start.
I would say so.
So we started with him, and then the opportunity came that K. Michelle was available, and we say, hey, let's give something, make sure that there's something for the ladies as well, and we got K. Michelle on board, and here we are, and we, was opening up the night with Rochelle Cook, who's, a local legend herself. You see her everywhere.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get any better than DJ Raj Smooth, who's going to be there all night.
Right. Wow. Well, that can't be inexpensive, but you're looking for the payout on the entertainment.
Yes.
You all want to be here kind of reaction.
It is. And, you can get your tickets at inspirethecitygala.com. They're available now. Again, it's going to a great cause. You're going to have a great night. Not only do you have great entertainment, but we have free food. We're going to have an extensive menu prepared by Mirepoix Catering. We're going to have drinks. It's going to be a great night. And there's going to be some other exciting surprises throughout the night.
Okay.
All right. Well, let me put this in a black folk picnic context. So this is not a picnic. This is a gala.
It's a gala.
So people need to be dressed up.
Yes.
Okay.
We want you to wear your after 5 cocktail attire. If you want to put your ball gown on from one of those Mardi Gras balls so you can get a second wear out of it, please do.
Okay. All right. And it's not a black picnic. So people need to come, and they don't have to eat before because you've got food.
We're going to
have. But I don't think you're fixing place to go.
No, we're not sending any to-go plates. I don't think they'll have enough. I don't think they have anything left once we have all these people packing out the place,
All right. And there are drinks available.
There are drinks available. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So this is for adults.
I think, I was going to say, I think Will's referring to alcoholic beverages. Okay.
Yes, this is
for
adults. This evening event is for adults to enjoy.
Will they be able to make mocktails for those who
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Absolutely.
So you'll have an open bar.
Yes, we'll have an open bar.
All right.
Yep. And also, we have a silent auction going on right now. So if you go to the website, you can look at some of the things. It's heavy on New Orleans culture, and there's some cultural packages. There's some staycation type packages available, sports packages. And again, all of this money goes to helping us be able to do things for our students. And for the first time in our gala history, we're doing a 50-50 raffle. You do not have to be there to purchase tickets to the 50-50 raffle. They're also available on the website at the auction page. So please take advantage. Again, we would love for you to come. You can get your tickets at inspiredcitygala.com. But if you can't make it that night, if you got previous plans, just log on, check out the auction, get some 50-50 raffle tickets, and enjoy the night with us.
Can you do the 50-50 raffle online, or do you have to?
Yes, it's online. It's online.
All right, so you can do that.
You can buy your tickets online.
Okay, and what are some of the types of things you have in the auction?
So we have, one of the highlights is we have a couple of Terrence Osborne pieces, signed pieces. We have a couple of staycations at local hotels that include dinner and transportation. We have an ultimate transportation. We have an ultimate night. I take you take your significant other out for the weekend, 2-night stay, and get you a good meal and drive around the city. We have a ultimate Mardi Gras package for those Mardi Gras lovers. It gives you access to Zulu, Athena, and Femme Fatale's ball, as well as Lundi Gras. And
you don't have to beg and call around and anything left. Yeah.
You'll get 2 tickets to each of those balls and a poster signed by King Zulu 2026, Dr. Ryan Tassin. We have some sports packages if you're a Saints fan. Signed football and tickets to a preseason game. If you're a Pelicans fan, we have some Pelicans gear that's there. We have an M-Line package. We know he's very popular right now in the city, local designer. So, IREP 504, Rock Fresh, a couple of our other designers, World Envision. So there's a bunch of things
you got them lined up.
There's a bunch of things on the website. If you like to barbecue and grill and boil, we have a backyard package. So, so check it out, inspiredcitygala.com. Check out the silent auction.
All right.
Wow, this is fantastic.
Help me out. I do want to get to the auction part, but
if you scroll down on Inspired, scroll down, you'll see the part that says silent auction. I think it's right after the entertainment lineup.
Okay. Well, I'll find it in time. I'm sure it's there. Probably it's user error. I'm sure that I'm not getting there. But so tell us about the students, because this is a fundraiser.
Yes.
It's for scholarships.
Yes.
And you want to help students. You have helped students before with this gala. Can you tell us about some of the success from this gala with previous student awardees, scholarship awardees? And is it the same this year, or is there anything different?
So we hope to, help more students than we have in the past. We always want to increase whatever we do. It's interesting because part of my job is also to be over student leadership for our network. And in February after Mardi Gras, we took about 30 of our seniors to Atlanta for a college tour. And we went to Clark. And while we were on campus, one of our student leaders who graduated last year, who was also a recipient, was on campus and just saw us, and it always makes me feel good as an educator and someone that loves children to see the ones who were there before be able to turn around and, she's like, oh my God, look, y'all are here, and she see, 30 of the student leaders who were under them last year, and she's able to explain to them what it is to be part of Clark University, what it is to have that Inspire NOLA pride,
Yeah.
what it is to be able to benefit from something like the scholarship gala, right? To let them know that, hey, if you do what you need to do, this is where we are, right? And so it's always wonderful to see that we service 5,500 kids across the city of New Orleans. Over 90% Black and brown. So it's amazing when we are able to do things like this, and we're able to have those scholars come back and speak, or we're able to go to other cities and see our scholars, whether it's Clark, whether it's Howard, because we're in D.C. a lot. We see our students there. Any of those places, it's amazing to be able to see that nights like Saturday matter, right? And what we get from Saturday is going to pour into kids, and it's going to put them out into the world, and they're going to be prepared to take on the world. Because that's what we really do at the end of the day. Education should be about preparing our next generation of leaders, right? And so it's always amazing to see that what we do have that type of impact.
And you, Mason?
So you mentioned the college tour, and you mentioned going to Clark, and you've been to Howard. What are some of the majors that are most popular that you're seeing coming out of your students based upon the curriculum at Inspire NOLA?
So we have several that are in engineering.
Okay.
Right.
Very good.
We have several that are that want to be doctors. So they're pre-med. We have several that want to be educators. We even have a program we talked earlier about things that we use this money to fund, but we have things like our Grow Your Own program, which takes our kids and it trains them to go into the profession of education. And so they're already in schools, in our K-8 schools, helping teachers and doing a bit of like student teaching, right? And that's programming that if funding is cut on a federal level, these dollars are able to then fill in the gap to make sure that this program survives and strives, and it's there for our children as they go on into the next phase of their life.
Have there been federal cuts? And we talked a little bit about that before the break, but how has that impacted you? And just for our listeners, the importance of this program, this fundraiser this weekend, to sort of mitigate that.
So with the dissolving of the Department of Education, there's a lot of things that's in flux, right? And there's talks of cuts everywhere. What we do is we shut that out. We shut that noise out, and we say, okay, cool. We understand that this pot of money may not exist next year. So we need to do to make sure that our students don't feel the impact of those cuts. And that's why not just the scholarship gala, but a lot of the things that we do, our CEO, Jamar McNeely, who's great at speaking around the nation and fundraising, he wants to make sure that our students don't feel those cuts, that don't suffer any lack of services. So while there are talks of cuts and we don't know exactly what's going to be cut, we know that we're in a position that we can help fill in some of the gaps and alleviate some of that pain that may be felt that honestly some of the schools and some of the school systems across the nation may not be able to do. So that's why we need people to support us at this gala on Saturday.
So you manage 7 schools now.
7 schools, yes.
Are there any plans to expand?
Not currently.
Okay, all right. You have enough cut out for you.
We have 5,500 kids across 7 schools, and every day they're growing and more people are trying to get into them. So now we're good where we are.
Well, that's good. So tell us about the who's going to host this mega event and some of the you're going to be honoring some people, right?
Yeah. So we have Daryl Forges from WDSU.
All right, Daryl.
He's going to be our host. He'll be returning again this year. And we have several honorees, including Councilman Eugene Green. We have State Senator Jimmy Harris, Dr. Tanya Moore of Oxnard, Ashley McGillis from Liberty Bank, just to name a few. And it's gonna be great, right? We have, like I say, we have a diverse group of civic and political leaders that we're honoring on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got a caller. Good morning, Sabrina. You're on with Will Sutton, Mason Harrison, and Travis Phipps from Inspire NOLA.
Hi, good morning. I'm just calling in because I am proud to hear that, a school or a school body will take this initiative, because I've been around the school systems quite some time, more or less volunteering or having kids in school. And presently, what I just wanted to kind of come out and give an importance to, again, what you're doing, because we have our kids involved throughout their whole school life. The youngest, 5 years old, is on the track team. And we have to definitely provide everything. And fortunate enough, we've been able to sustain that. But we are facing an endeavor this weekend. My grandson is at Abramson, and he's on the debate team for the first time in 10th grade, and has advanced to the state level. And it's going to be tough for us this time. We went to district, and we covered all costs ourselves, and didn't know that there was another level. And out of town again, I think Lafayette again. So it's like a 3-day weekend. And it's like, reaching out to the school and asking for some assistance. It's like, can you all provide some assistance, especially on this one, because it's a tough time for us. We have a senior coming out of Abramson. So I just wanted to say, yes, we've heard of all the cuts throughout the school, system, and it does affect us as parents to, have to be a part of those.
All right. Thanks, Sabrina, for calling in. Lord's blessings. Have a great day. We're going to ask Travis to answer your question.
So I think I heard her say that she has a scholar at Abramson,
Correct.
and they're short on funding or something like that.
The debate team in particular.
So the thing is, that's not an Inspire NOLA charter school.
Right.
I'm not sure who Abramson is attached to with Charter Network, but my first piece of advice would be to reach out to that Charter Network. I'm sure they have things in place, much like Inspire NOLA has in place, to help their 5,500 students. But I would start with reaching out to their central office, and that would be a great place to start. Let them know what the situation is and the help that's needed. And because it's a debate team, I'm pretty sure they may have funding to help their entire debate team. But the first step would be to reach out to whichever charter system is managing Abramson.
There's also maybe an opportunity to reach out to your council member, whoever district that school is located in. They have funding available through Harrah's, or though it's now Caesars New Orleans. They also have funding through Entergy and other pots of money that can be used potentially to support the debate team at Abramson.
Yep, indeed. Okay. So as we wind down this segment and head into a break, once again, tickets are still available.
Tickets are still available.
And how can people find out more about the auction? How can they get tickets? How can they get information about the 50/50 raffle?
So it's all one-stop shopping, inspirethecitygala.com. If you go on the page, you'll see tickets available at the top of the page. Then you'll see a section with all of the honorees. If you scroll down some more, you'll see the auction. And the 50/50 raffle is on the auction piece. So you can get all of that right there. You can make your bids. They'll send alerts to your phone throughout the day, let you know if someone outbids you, things like that. You can buy your tickets. Again, you do not have to be there in person to participate in the auction or the 50/50 raffle. But it's a great opportunity to get some good things at great prices. And who knows, if you get enough people in the 50/50 raffle, you might take home a nice chunk of change at the end of the night.
And you'll be on in the back end this afternoon, making sure that those auction prices are going up, right?
Hey, well, I made a joke yesterday. I said I'm going to be watching until about 10:45 Saturday night. The auction's going to close at 11 p.m.
I hear you.
Sneaking at the end and make a good bid.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Travis Phipps.
Thank y'all for having me.
From Inspire NOLA. Big gala coming up. A lot of good information. You can go to inspirethecitygala.com and find all the information that you want, including the friends and sponsors, the lineup, the all kinds of sponsors, the co-chairs are there, including Councilman Freddie King, Sheriff-elect Michelle Woodfork, and, of course, the CEO, Jamar McNeely. And there are other honorees as well. So take a look at that page and see what you'll be in store for the value of the ticket, which includes food and open bar. All right. So
Will's favorite.
Yeah, right. All right. So it's 8:51 a.m. We're going to close out this segment, and then when we come back, we're going to have more conversation and news and information that you ought to know, you want to know, that we're going to share with you before we get out of here and make way for the front porch. Mason, in case there's somebody who wants to get a word in before we leave, what's that number?
They can reach us at 504-582-9422. That's 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about.
All day long.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Cities across the country are struggling to provide affordable housing, but New Rochelle, a city just a train ride away from Manhattan, is working on a new approach that's bolstering affordable places to live. Led by Mayor Yadira Ramos-Herbert, the New Rochelle model is responsible for adding over 4,500 new housing units, with an additional 6,500 units on the way. Mayor Ramos-Herbert spoke to Bloomberg about how the city is using public-private partnerships and more to make it all happen.
We worked with the community here. What do you want to see in New Rochelle? And through our public-private partnership, we've enhanced plazas, we've brought murals, we've increased EV charging stations, we've brought a black box theater right to our main street, we're opening parklets. And so really working together, providing assurances to developers, everybody essentially wins. Never mind that rents are actually holding steady and actually decrease the median rent.
Mayor Ramos-Herbert is the first woman and first person of color to become mayor of New Rochelle. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Want consistent color for every job? Milo's Pro Rewards members get a 20% paint discount on future purchases after paint annual qualifying spend reaches $3,000. Plus, order eligible in-stock paint and paint supplies by 2 p.m. for free same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Improving is easy at Lowe's. Excludes spray paint and mist tints. More exclusions, terms, and conditions apply. Subject to change. Details at Lowes.com/terms. Same-day delivery valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. Details at Lowes.com/same-day delivery.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
It's off the top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
The excuses have run out. In New Orleans, the failures of the Sewerage and Water Board are no longer occasional. They are, in fact, routine. Another major water line erupts. Streets flood. Property is damaged. And the response is as predictable as the failure itself. Explanations, deflections, and promises. We have heard it all before. Let's be clear. This is not bad luck. This is not unforeseen. This is what happens when a critical public system is allowed to decay in full view of those responsible for maintaining it. Pipes more than a century old are bursting beneath our streets. A power system built on outdated technology continues to falter. And a governance structure split between city and state has created the perfect environment for one thing above all else: a lack of accountability. Because when everyone is in charge, no one is in charge. We saw the warning signs in 2017 when a summer rainstorm overwhelmed a crippled drainage system. We saw it again during Hurricane Ida, when failure of the power system nearly led to catastrophe. We've lived through boil water advisories, cyber attacks, and the looming threat of saltwater intrusion. And now we are watching the ground beneath us literally give way. So the question must be asked, not politely, but directly, just who the hell is responsible? Is it the leadership of the Sewage and Water Board? Is it the mayor who leads the Utilities Board? Is it the governor and the state of Louisiana, which maintains control over this hybrid agency? Or is it all of the above? Because the people of New Orleans are paying the price in damaged homes, disrupted lives, and rising rates for a system that no longer delivers the most basic of public services: water, drainage, safety. This is not complicated. What is required now is not another study, not another promise, not another press conference with catchy phrases of concern. What is required is action, decisive, coordinated, and immediately. Full transparency, a clear chain of command, and a timeline the public can see and hold accountable. Anything less is simply managing decline. And in a city like New Orleans, where water is both a fact of life and a constant threat, managing decline is just not responsible. It is dangerous. So here is the bottom line. If this system fails again, and it will, no one should be allowed to say they didn't see it coming. The warning signs are no longer beneath our streets. They are erupting through them. And this time, the responsibility will not wash away with the water. So y'all come up with a plan, and damn it, do something with it. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. Just a short period of time before we'll be wrapping up the Good Morning Show, and the front porch will be ahead next. But Mason, quite a bit of conversation and information this morning, huh?
We did. We covered a lot, and some folks are reacting to us on social media. Karen Marks on Facebook says, "It's not our war, Will." Speaking to you directly.
All right.
It's about the petrodollar. First Venezuela, Iran, and next Cuba.
I hear you. It's very much petrodollar and more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree on the what, but I think it's that and more. So
also
but
about
I hear Karen. I hear.
Also about denying China access to oil. Right. So if you can corner the market in Venezuela, if you can corner the market in Iran, right, both are places from which China was receiving a certain percentage of their crude oil to fuel their economy. Right. If you're able to restrict those markets, then, that makes it tighter for them as well. So and of course, there's been a shadow war, if not a cold war, against the Chinese since they, came to power in 1949.
Yeah, indeed. So. Good conversation about that, and what a show Inspire NOLA has coming up this Saturday.
That sounds fantastic. And as we were discussing during the break, right, you need not know the schools, you need not know Inspire NOLA as a charter management organization, you need not even have a student enrolled in New Orleans Public Schools, but that show is absolutely going to be entertaining. It's going to be fantastic, and so folks should go out and purchase tickets and support our young people.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to get out of here and make room for the front porch coming up next. This is WBOK, and Lord willing, I'll be back here on tomorrow morning. What about you?
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right. Looking forward to it. Some more spicy conversation.
Yes, indeed.
All right. This is WBOK, 1230 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about.